Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here.
And I'm Mighty the Armadillo here, welcome you all back for yet again for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos, once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario Slam Basketball, aka, for those of you who lived in America, Mario Hoops 3-on-3, and finally for those of you who lived in Japan, Mario Basketball 3-on-3. So yeah, for the Nintendo DS obviously. So yesterday we've already did somehow tackle through the flower tourney in hard mode, despite the fact that we did have some bit of struggles with not only Luigi Mansion, but also Daisy Garden essentially as well. But unfortunately though, we didn't seem able to get that special unlockable thing if we did somehow manage to do so. But hopefully we will do it on the extra videos department. So anyway, so today we're about to begin the forms of the Star Tourney once again, except now we're on hard mode. So yeah, and for this particular character combinations, this time around though, as far as picking choices as far as I'm aware, we're also able to actually go ahead and select the newest one in the lineup, which appears to be Boo, and I think he was actually a tricky type. And also we'll decide to bring back Yoshi ever since the beginning of the game, because after all, we've also managed to get ourselves the alternative colors for Yoshi. Well, mind you, there's only two new alternate colors for him, so making a grand total of like 3 color alterations. But either way though, originally though, I was expecting to able to choose Luigi essentially, but we've decided able to bring back Ninja again, just because I feel like out of all the actual Final Fantasy playable characters department, I feel like that Ninja is actually pretty cool to play as. So anyways, let's get to it with Star Tourney once again, and hopefully this time we're going to be competing against with the aggressive hard computer players. So to begin with, we're about to be heading back into Wario Factory for possibly the final time, and exponentially we will able to actually stumble across into Junior Street again, although not necessarily the final time yet, because obviously there's still the unlockable requirements we do need able to get at some point, again in Journey forms of an extra video at some point. And finally, Bowser Castle, which I wasn't exactly pleased able to be revisiting that place after experiencing it for the first time on normal mode, just because of how too chaotic that is, at least in my opinion anyway. So anyway, so let's go and face off against with not only Wario, but also Donkey Kong and Paratrooper, strangely. So now, of course, we can able to actually, should be expected, that in order able to get, you know, the gold trophy, you simply have to get up to 200 or more points than the other opponents, or opposing opponents, until you're able to actually get some tons of collectibles around here. Oh, and speaking of collectibles in this game though, or unlockables as far as you meant to say for this point, Ray, is the fact that technically speaking, there are, you know, a couple of more cosmetic balls you can able to actually decide to unlock within different conditions. Like for instance about the fact that you can able to actually just go ahead and deal with the exhibition match during one of those courts you can able to go into, which we'll plan to do that at some points whenever we're able to go ahead and deal with the extra video or something like that. And also say applies the forms of one of those, well, I don't know about you, because it has been about quite a few hours since we actually last played this after experiencing kind of a lengthy process with the forms of the flower tourney, but I suppose it really doesn't matter in terms of the forms of the actual cup requirements this time, because I can assure to you that if you ever get gold or silver trophies for that part, basically all you're really getting is just all cosmetics and all that stuff, which is always pretty optional if you really want able to like care for those kind of stuff. But honestly, I think characters are more important than the likes of how it does in cosmetics, in my opinion. I don't know about you, because I know for the fact that it might be super satisfying if you do manage to able to, you know, unlock certain things. So, and also something worth mentioning for is the fact that as far as we've already explained about this ever since the past few parts of this Let's Play, that yeah, unfortunately though, multiplayer only modes are inaccessible in this Let's Play, just because you know how the fact that the Wii U Virtual Console re-release version is far lacking with all that, you know, DS wireless play. So as a result though, the only way you can play multiplayer is to obviously get the DS system alongside with the old copy of the game, and that's pretty much about it. Whilst unlike in Mario Sports Mix, you can able to actually go ahead and actually access to multiplayer stuff Journey forms have been a party games thanks to the forms of, well, assuming if you're able to actually have some more Wii remotes with you, and also, you know, 8 AA batteries as the requirement. But either way, though, that might be something worth noting for when it comes to likely for multiplayer requirements to get full experiences or something like that. Well, mind you, the online mode in Mario Sports Mix is now dead, because obviously with Nintendo Wi-Fi connection is also dead. So, yeah, you get the idea. Well, assuming if you're able to actually do something very creative with all that modding and stuff like that, which we were planning to do it, but of course I can't able to actually do a riskiest part by able to actually not only trying to damage the system, but also the circuit boards or anything else like that too. Well, apart from the fact that we still managed to able to use the actual homebrew channel on my old White Wii back in 2007, and obviously playing virtual console games on top of that too. But that's just the way how it is for us though, especially considerably how the fact that we can able to experience some unusual stuff we've never actually come across into. But I digress. So yeah, a few things we want to explain, and that is the fact that today's date is of course the 22nd of January today, in this case in 2023 today. Yep, naturally speaking, we've only got about 9 more days to go until the SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake is about to be releasing on multiple platforms, so hope you guys are looking forward to that particular game comes out. Although mind you, I will let some toys else, or specifically, Sonic were able to mention more about it until when he goes back onto Ape Escape. And on top of that, supposedly that Maxi were able to mention more about it until whenever he goes back onto Donkey Kong 64, basically. So, but anyways, speaking of the forms of those specific topics worth noting for is the fact that, you remember how the fact that originally that Maxi was gonna able to try to mention something related to Fire Emblem Engage, with all that, you know what I mean, with the review scores and stuff? Well, apparently though, the review scores have already been up for the sake of the forms of Fire Emblem Engage, because usually, relatively speaking, that game came out 2 days ago now. So as a result though, it actually receives a lot of higher praises, with only 2 exceptions though, which there are GameSpot alongside with Games Radar. So yeah, we'll probably point it out whenever we get to that specific point, until God knows if we're able to actually go to the next stage, or the continuation of this particular Wario Factory. So, and exponentially, again, before when it gets to the point until Mario Sports Mix roll around, basically though, we have to deal with the forms of conveyor belts. So, that'll be the only differences, I think, seemingly to say, but hey. And of course, we're able to actually, like, get away from that Bob Arms exponentially, and it's a good thing we switched over to Ninja as opposed to, you know, Light Blue Yoshi, because yes, the reason why I say Light Blue Yoshi, because this is one of those, color alterations for Yoshi, and technically speaking though, if we do somehow manage able to complete the Star Tourney, basically though, you get yourselves another one of those color variations for one of those unlockable characters we will come across into, if depending on the forms of the actual, the color of your trophy you get. So, assuming if you're able to actually become good at the game. So, well, assuming about the fact that if the stage doesn't really screw you up, or potentially with the stage hazards we're able to screw you up potentially, but either way, that's pretty much it for Wario Factory, so there we go. Because yeah, in order able to actually access to cosmetic alternate costumes for Yoshi, is the fact that you have to able to press the corresponding D-pad. Like, I believe if you press the D-pad on the left, basically you get yourselves the normal green color, and if you ever press the directional pad on the right, basically though, it actually allows you to able to actually, I don't know, actually access to like, well, I don't know about you, because again, it's been a very long while since I actually known about this game basically, so well, despite the fact that we last touched upon this game was actually yesterday, Mighty, after taking a break from the likes of some of these, you know what I mean, aggressive computer players, and also some occasional frustrating moments with all that Daisy Garden and stuff like that, which we've already pointed things out ever since the previous weeks ago, so And I don't know about you, Mighty, but potentially we might as well able to finish up the rest of the forms of the Tourney mode during the forms of next Saturday. So yeah, that will be pretty exciting. And as far as the extras are concerned, probably potentially gonna have to be on the beginning portion of February before we move on to well, the next weekend project as far as Let's Plays goes. So at least there might be some consumption to that. So. Alright, so we actually got ourselves some slot coins, and something's worth mentioning is the fact that if you ever dare able to actually get a matching pair with Bowser Jr., basically what happens is you're essentially going to get your points taken all the way down to 0 if you get screwed over. Because let me tell you, sometimes Junior Street can be luck-based at times with all that slot machines. I get it because of the forms of the gamble casino themed kind of environment, as far as you can clearly tell. But either way though, sometimes though you have to be very careful of those Bowser Jr. Icons, because if you're able to actually come across into them, basically you lose points. I'm presuming so anyway. I think this is the only court that you are able to actually lose your points. So yeah, it has to be very careful, because what if I manage to play this on my own time on the actual DS physical copy of the game? My god, I keep on getting screwed over by the forms of those stupid slot machine mechanic. Well, nothing bad or anything, it's just about the fact that sometimes it can be felt a bit luck-based, you know? Ah, oh, dang it, I completely forgot about the explosion. Oh well. And as you can tell, we now face off against with not only Bowser Jr., just get it because, you know, Junior Street as far as the stage applies, and also say it applies with, well, alongside with Bowser Jr., I meant to say. Oh, we actually got ourselves a double. So in some cases, if you get a star, you're able to actually get double the amount of points, but then if you get a Mario icon, basically though, you get triple. As you probably already know, ever since the Journey forms within the previous, videos ago, since Journey forms within a normal version of this particular stock Tourney in mind, so... Well, we were expecting to able to actually get the Mario icon to able to actually make things a bit easier for ourselves, to able to rank up some more points, but potentially speaking though, as I said before, trying to get the amount of points you can able to get in this stage, well, it's fun, and especially noticeable you can able to get the ridiculous amount of points if you're lucky. However though, again as I said, be careful of not to land on the Bowser Jr. Lines, because otherwise you will kiss your points goodbye, especially considerably about the fact that if you're trying to, you know, face up against with harder computer players like I just, we're still doing right here, well, potentially speaking, it's just, well, you know what I mean. But I digress. Alongside with Bowser Jr., we also face up against with Waluigi and Peach, strangely. So, yeah, I guess that makes it pretty obvious right there, so... Alright, on to the second period, here we go. And I think, relatively speaking, that Ninja's attack is actually pretty useful, especially considerably about the fact that, luckily though, that we don't necessarily have to worry about the forms of that bit of a delay for the actual attack when you're trying to able to steal a ball and stuff. But potentially speaking, though, it's just that, what the heck? Okay, I wasn't expecting, first I thought that Waluigi's gonna pick that, oh yes, you probably already know, ever since in Journey forms within yesterday, that obviously we switched the different cosmetic ball into a dice ball, which, it kind of think about it, it does kind of reminds me of the forms of a kind of a similar dice, as in the forms of not only in, well, it can't be necessarily be the actual dice ball from Mario Party 5 with Beach Valley Frolly minigame, but also I think that this particular dice ball does kind of reminds me of something related to Boom Street a little bit. Well, mind you, about the fact the matter is though, why can't I just pull off that special trick? Although, mind you, I'm pretty sure that it's been about a week ago since we've last played as Ninja. Because as far as I'm aware, because, you know, we did show off most of the characters anyway, so apart from that particular point where we've only got about 2 characters left now, until we basically complete the entire character roster, so, well, it wasn't until whenever we able to do need to unlock the extra stage first in order to able to actually access to it, so... But again, this might take a bit of while, especially considering about the fact that we're able to try to show some parts of, but not every single portions, I'm afraid. So, So anyways, in terms of those reviews for, you know, Fire Emblem Engage, as I said before, is actually pretty promising. Especially that for IGN gives the game a 9 out of 10, which is always a pretty good score. And also, Gaming Informer is also receiving 9 out of 10. And also, Shack News, I'm presuming so anyway, also gives it a 9 out of 10. And, Destroyed, I think that's what it says anyway. Forgive me if I somehow managed able to apologize for that mispronunciation of that particular gaming website, because it's been a very long while since I actually mentioned something like this. And on top of that, with the Forms of Games Reactor, did somehow give the game an 8 out of 10, which is always a pretty good score. Game Explained somehow loved the game, and Polygon somehow gives the game a recommended. And Eurogamer actually also receives a recommended too. However though, there are 2 review exceptions though, which there are, I would classify for saying GameSpot, and especially noticeable with Games Radar, that both of those websites do actually receive scores a little bit differently, which as a result, for instance, that basically GameSpot usually gives the game a 7 out of 10, which is decent. However though, that doesn't even compare to the Forms of Games Radar, apparently. Which as a result though, they received the game as in 2.5 out of 5, which I might be thinking to myself, that might be a decent score, but that doesn't excuse the fact that, well, they just give the game a, you know, a bit of a lower score than any other, like, reviewers out there. Well, despite the fact that we still haven't got the game for ourselves, probably because we're not really necessarily into Fire Emblem as much as the next guy, but that's the way I think about it anyway, so... There we go, we did somehow win. Originally though, we were expecting to able to get up to like 800 points in order to able to unlock something, but... Again, we'll save that in the extra video, just to ensure that we'll get that out of the way. So, especially that we really so desperately want to able to unlock everything before we don't miss this out. So, alright, so on to the finals we go for the final time, possibly speaking of such, because here we go on to Bowser Castle again. Except this time we now face off against with harder computer players. So, because yeah, relatively speaking though, it's just about the fact that, well, it's not necessarily the final time we're going to be experiencing Bowser Castle yet though, because we also might as well able to figure out that we will able to unlock something in specifically an exhibition match. So, well, mind you about the fact that, speaking of the forms of extra stage unlockables though, the only stage you can only unlock in exhibition match was actually going to be taking place in Koopa Beach, whilst the majority of them needs to be only accessible in Tourney mode, or Tourney mode as far as I meant to say. And as a result though, it might take a bit of a long time to able to get to that point, but we will definitely have to do this as in a special edit skills like we are simply just doing. And as on top of that though, it makes the actual process a bit quicker instead of like the actual like some slow moments here and there. Now I figured that we could probably able to do it on normal mode instead of hard mode, because in hard mode might get a bit too much and chaotic, especially in this stage case. And on top of all that stuff though, wow, we didn't receive that much scores in the first couple of seconds, or in some cases though for about a minute, which is kind of strange, kind of think about it, especially because, well, we keep on getting hit by, you know, multiple hazards, like, you know what I'm saying, for the fact that, you know, some too many fireballs on screen, and on top of that, some pretty much a jump scare from they're about to able to screw you up, and all that stuff. But for the most part though, Boo is basically a tricky character type, so yeah, that's not much else I can say about it. Although the only downside with Boo though is the fact that if you're trying to able to dunk into the forms of the basket as you go, depending on what specific placement you're in, basically though, sometimes computer players will catch you off guard, and then most of the time Boo just somehow managed able to go for a bit of a slight delay when it comes to dunking the ball as it goes, and as a result though, that could be problematic and a little bit difficult, especially noticeable if you dare select him as your, you know, controlling character, then basically, you know, you might as well have a hard time able to actually just try to dunk the ball into the basket as you go. And actually, gonna think about it, this is our third time face off against with Bowser on this game. Especially that, you know, the first time we've actually faced off against with him was actually obviously in the normal mode, in a Star Tourney and stuff like that, despite I have a massive rant about the forms of Bowser Castle stage itself, especially considering how the fact that, like I said before, this stage is too chaotic. Yeah, especially noticeable, yeah, you get hit a lot of times. Oh, wow, that was a really good shot there. Especially, we'll get 43 points. So, yeah, that's actually super dope and everything. And speaking of which, though, is the fact that the other players we face off against is, in addition with Bowser, there's also Daisy and Dixie Kong, strangely, too. So, yeah, because after all, we've already selected Dixie Kong ever since your journey falls within the normal mode version of the Star Tourney Cup. So, yeah, it's kind of strange that she's actually now in part of the Bowser team, strangely, so... But either way, I think as far as I usually am aware, for such news and updates we can possibly think of, I think that's as far as we can talk about. Although, originally, we were expecting to able to try to mention something more related to Mario Kart Tour, despite the fact that I've almost gonna give up on the game as much. But as a result, though, I think I should probably let, I think we should probably let Sonic be able to mention more about it until when he goes back onto Ape Escape. So, potentially speaking in journey forms of next Tuesday, roughly. Well, something ranging from the likes of in, you know, Tuesdays and Thursdays, essentially. So, alright, so let's just go ahead and keep on passing. Yeah, keep passing to other teammates of yours will be mandatory every now and then, especially because, like we said this before, that's usually for passing, as well as the forms of trying to do some fake outs, will able to potentially help out a little bit, despite you have to utilize the touchscreen a lot for the forms of the majority of the game, so... But that's as far as I can think about it. One thing I actually forgot to mention about, ever since your journey forms have been in yesterday's video, potentially, that technically speaking, in regards to the forms of the item system, you can technically also press the B button in order to actually activate the items, which I honestly forgot about that until when I looked upon the forms of the instruction booklet, or it's potentially speaking though, it's just about the fact the matter is though, can you get out of my way, Bowser, please? I mean, seriously, what the heck are you thinking? Although I totally get it, you're the toughest guy in the world, although potentially that's you know what though, about the fact the matter is though, forget what I just said from the likes of the forms of sense of confusion or something like that, so... But at least on the upside is though, we've got ourselves a star, man, by simply making the actual stage a heck of a lot more easy to manage, and especially noticeable because after all, we're doing pretty well so far. Well, eventually, it wasn't until when it gets to the point, they will still able to try to score the score, so... And potentially speaking though, we need to able to, like, you know, win a gold trophy no matter what though, until we get ourselves the next remaining collectible, or... What do I keep on saying collectibles? I keep thinking of Donkey Kong 64 for some reason. What I meant to say is unlockables, so... But again, it's just about the fact the matter is though, it's been a... You know, quite a while since I actually mentioned something like this, you know? But with that being said though, it looks like we've almost done with the Star Tourney, so yeah, things are going pretty smoothly as far as, you know, progression itself goes. And relatively speaking though, we did have ourselves a decent time overall, despite the fact that we did somehow manage to get screwed over sometimes with all that too much chaos just going on, with all that... You know what I mean, fireballs, and you need probably name the rest, so... There we go, Star Tourney is being completed again, except on hard mode, so relatively speaking, not only do we might as well get ourselves the, potentially speaking, the next different color ball, but also we can probably get ourselves not only one new character, but combined with the new playable character, we might also get ourselves the next cosmetic colors, or to be more specifically, alternate colors. Like for instance, we now unlocked Fly Guy, and also the alternate colors with Fly Guy, and also the new ball. So I'm very curious what the new ball is going to be, although according to the actual description for it, I think we will able to get ourselves the, assuming if I'm able to get into the actual edit thing right here, we get ourselves the Goomba Ball. Interesting, huh? Especially that, yeah, I think we'll have to endings up here. So join us next time for more of Let's Play of Mario Slam Basketball. We'll move on to the final cup in the game. So I'll see you guys next Saturday. Later, dudes.